Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Hope y'all are doing well. So many big things have been going on since I took a little bit of break from the game and making content. We've got Atomization, which is now out, which is amazing. I had I think 3K atoms and crafted Shazam and Joker right off the bat because I've been dying to build decks with them. So I'm super excited for that. And yeah, it's good to be back. There's a lot that I feel like has changed. Not only have we gotten a new comic with a new card in it, I think we've just found more and more that people are running Flashpoint and really finding many different ways to abuse kind of what Shazam does, what Ivy does. But that's not what we're going over today. Today we are going over a deck that I've been wanting to cover for a bit. Other content creators have definitely talked about it. But I do really think that it is truly the best aggro option. And I also wanted to cover it for those of you who are, just climbing toward World Finest. It's just such an efficient deck. The games are super quick. Your opponents are either conceding, or even if you're finishing out the games, they're not going past, turns 5, 6, basically like gold's 2 turn essentially. And just wanted to throw out a deck that I think is going to be, is firmly in the meta. I see it quite often. I played it a bunch today. I've found a pretty good level of success with it. So why don't we just dive in and take a look. And I gave a little bit of a preview in my last video. I had sort of referenced how good it might be. So what are we doing, right? Obviously, if you haven't seen these leaders or in combination with one another, Flash is going to help you keep the board clear early, but also do a ton of damage, and we'll talk about how. And then Doomsday, as soon as you're KOing an enemy, he's turning on and just hitting them for 10 in the face. That's why we've got me hit leader, me big. Don't know why I wanted to talk like a cave person for this, but just thought it would be funny. So how do you do that, and how do you pilot the deck? Because it is definitely different. You really want to point all your damage towards their face. You really don't want to care about the board at all unless you have to. And there are situations where you do. So I don't want to just say, you're always attacking them. But so let's talk about the card selection real quick for the deck. Kite Man just generally is exactly what this deck wants. It's free. You can play it out maybe when you only have 1 bronze your first turn. You get to play out 2 different cards that are going to get you some damage. Ambush Bug, still fine. Comes down, maybe kills something, and then gets to attack for more. Power Surge, really good combination with Flash. +3 this turn to any character. You can use it on a leader. Allows you to punch for 10 with Flash, which is pretty nasty. And maybe there should be 2. I've kind of tweaked the numbers here and there, and I've liked kind of where I wound up, but by no means, is this the deck list? I think there are plenty of other people who have better deck lists. I'm also missing Two-Face, who I think is like an excellent card to be playing, and I'm sure there are a couple other ones that I've seen in the top meta decks. Partners in Crime is just always good turn 1. You're going to get 2/3/1s. Unless you get got by Shockwave or something like that, your opponent's still going to take, at least 3 to the face from this card. Kind of worst case scenario. Mr. Freeze still doing a great job at, kind of locking up those combat-based leaders and dealing 3 damage, which is definitely relevant and really adds up. Max was buffed, can deal 6 if unchecked. Usually this thing has a massive target on its back and dies pretty quickly. Man-Bat, kind of the same thing, but it still just feels really good when you play it. You punch for 4, and if it dies, it dies. And if it doesn't, great, you get more value with it. Liberty Bell, kind of the same principle. Use it to trade for maybe an opposing Max Mercury, or just punch through for 3 damage. That's haste with their speed ability. Sorry, as a Magic player, I just always hear it or see it as haste in my mind. 2 Energy Blast, just burn to the face, or if you really, really need to clear a unit, then you can do that. Iris West allows Flash to punch for 6. Also allows for some really great alternate lines of play where both your leaders can attack, and Flash is not going to take as much damage, and you can clear some little one health, recruits pretty easily. The Ring Chooses, not sure you should have 2. This is where some of the adjustment might come in, but so far I've been really happy with this card. You're mostly fishing for a John Stewart that's buffed to deal 7 damage, or potentially a Hal in the late game to guard, maybe like Doomsday as the game progresses. But so far, I've been pretty happy with the card. Just running a straight up 1 of John Stewart, I felt pretty great about that. 2 Joker Toxin, and we'll talk about why, because there is at least 1 card where there's some synergy. The Cheetah, saw this in other people's lists and honestly like it. The 4 health is actually pretty hefty. And there are going to be situations where it just gets to punch through for 6 when it comes down, but it's also got Hunters, so if you happen to be able to protect it, or they're just not able to clear it as well, it is going to, hit them quite hard. Same with Lightning Arc. You just make great use of this card, especially in the aggro matchups as well. You can clear a lot of things if people are not really paying attention to positioning. Cupid just crafted it, as you might have seen at the beginning of the video. Just hits like a truck. It's random, but the fact that you can discard Joker Toxin to it is really, really nice. And just like in Magic, there isn't a cost to play this card to discard a card. It's just you play it. If you don't have any cards in hand, it still does the effect. So just really important to note about Cupid. Captain Cole just playing as a 1 of, just to maybe shut out some of those aggro or mid-range decks, which can be, in the mirror match, this card can be quite a house, even if it just takes their leaders off of 1 turn. Black Manta, auto-include, deals a ton of damage to the face, and it's a body. Super Sucker Punch, it's been generally pretty good. Sometimes you get to just, play your man bat and then punch for 8 and draw a card. Sometimes you get to clear a huge unit, and I've been pretty happy with that. I'm trying out 2 Bigger They Are, the Harder They Fall. Played against a couple players who are running this just to clear those big, obnoxious like guard units, or things like Mr. Terrific that are popping up, I think, more and more. So far, I've been pretty happy with it. And then the late game, I've got Hellblaze, Deathstroke, and Shazam. I think Lightning Strike is also pretty good. I've generally been happy with this as my gold package, but Lightning Strike might actually be better than running something like Shazam. But so far, I've been pretty happy with the build. So that's it. Obviously, there are plenty of cards that are up for debate as to what is better. But for now, I've been running this, having a lot of fun with it, and I wanted to show it to y'all because I think it's a really great deck to climb with. So let's snag a couple games and see how it goes. So yeah, let me know in the comments, what you've been seeing, what's been working for you. We are very far away from the place where I was climbing with Aquabat, which I still think is an excellent deck. But I just think we're going to see a lot more control and a lot more aggro, and we'll see kind of how mid-range shakes out. Okay, perfect matchup. This is what I would call one of the more consistent kind of premier control strategies right now. So I'm really glad we're playing against it. So we're definitely going to mulligan our 2 Solars here. Definitely just want to get a really strong start, which we don't really have. We could play Ambush Bug just to poke in for some damage here. Part of me wants to just ring chooses, and it is close, but I've also got Energy Blast too. So I think I'm just going to run out the Ambush Bug. I would like to save its ambush ability to kill something, but I'm just going to punch in. And I could go for Shazam over Ivy. Ivy's got 2 less life, which makes me a little bit more inclined to kill her. She also has an ability that's a lot more relevant throughout the game, so that's kind of my thinking there. Okay, well, this is actually a pretty good opportunity, I think, to just... we've got a couple options. We can trade both of our attacks to kill this, to clear it, or we could use Energy Blast on it. I think here I might want to use Ring Chooses as well. So, but I could also just send 6 at Shazam's face. However, this is a really obnoxious blocker, and so I think it's decent enough. It soaks up 2 attacks, yes, but I think it's pretty important for us to clear. Okay, well, we don't really have a great answer. I mean, we can take Green Lantern Cadet, and it will come down as a 3/4, and it's a free card. So I actually think with the tempo that we've got right now, this is probably our best option. Interesting. I haven't actually had that choice before. So we'll see. We'll see what they can clear, see what they can deal with. But the fact that we got to use Man-Bat to punch through on something is pretty nice. Okay. Pretty happy about that as well. Riddler, guessing plus Savage Vines. Yep. Alright, so we've got Flash this turn, and we're definitely just going to try and make as quick work of their board as we can. Okay, what is a card to give them? Activate the deploy abilities of each recruit. Sustained effort doesn't seem like it's going to do much for them, so I'll just give that to them. Okay, another ring chooses. Interesting. So I think the way I want to do this is probably just double punch with Flash, clear this, clear Savage Vine, and then ring chooses, see what we hit, and then potentially Energy Blast. I could also Energy Blast here, which is a lot more efficient. That might be the move. Okay, again, we have kind of an awkward draw. Hal is, I think we're still a little bit too far away from. Could play Kilowog and just have a big Kilowog that survives. That actually seems pretty decent. All right, so we're gonna change what I said in terms of efficiency. It's okay though. I'm gonna clear here. I'm gonna play Kilowog, which actually is pretty dang big, and then see what happens from here. Definitely not one of the most punchy, kind of damage-heavy starts that we've had, but I think we're doing okay. Okay, so they're going to sink 2 resources effectively into Kilowog. That I can live with. And culling is annoying, but it's not clearing all too much from our board. We do have this... The bigger they are, harder they fall, sitting in her hand, which is unfortunate. And just, I think for the sake of curving out, we're just going to... Now they're at both the same life. Yeah, I think here... At this point, now that they're at the same life... I mean, he's just not going to do anything for 3 more turns, so... Let's see what we can do. My hope is that they just play something we can KO here, and then just pull through. But I think Energy Blast going to the face is fine there, because we can only play 2 cards this turn anyway. Okay, well that's fine. Savage Vines we can actually clear. Okay, so we take 4 off of Savage Vines, which is the combo with Flashpoint. It's pretty nasty with Savage Vines. And it is a deck I'll definitely be featuring on the channel at some point. Okay, Solstice. Pretty good blocker, but nothing crazy. We just absolutely get to kill Ivy this turn, which is excellent. I mean, at this point, we could actually just KO and go... We have so many options. So what's the most efficient thing? We clear here, and then we go 10 and 2. Kills that. We KO there. We deal 3. And then, yeah, I mean, that seems good to me. Good old Doomsday, just screaming whenever he does anything. Gotta love it. Yep. Kill you. Now, gonna get 2 charges back, so it's not gonna take much longer. Get to KO here. Just excellent, and just keep on trucking. Deals so much damage. We get to play out our black mana. Hit for 5. Now, if they've got Hellblaze, they've got it, but I'm not going to play around it. I'm going to play out my recruits if I can. Hellblaze is probably their best draw here. But short of that, we're doing pretty well. We've got Doomsday in another 2 turns. Same with Flash. Can indoctrinate on... Yep, that makes sense. And then Eugene. Okay, not the end of the world by any stretch, so that's good. Lightning Arc, huh? Pretty dang good. Yeah, so we'll just clear here. And there's no reason to hold it here. Use our resources. we should be able to clear most of whatever they're going to do. And also they're just dead to like any sort of burn that we have. Going to have flash, maybe? Yeah. Yep. I mean, that's what this deck does. I mean, I think we had a pretty great draw. We were able to pretty much answer everything they did that turn. So yeah, let's hop right back in. Yeah, and once you hit World's Finest playing this deck too, you get 400 gold per win instead of 200, and you could just rack up a bunch of wins pretty easily, I think. It's a really scary deck. I think people will tune their decks to beat it. I've been thinking about that from the control perspective as well. But it's a surprisingly potent deck. Okay, right. We get the rematch. All right, maybe we'll just have a video on how to play this matchup. All right, just obviously fishing for bronze cards again. So, not a bad start. And I will just run out Max. Max will probably eat a bolt or something, but energy blast. But if he doesn't die, this thing is super scary. 6 damage from your bronze card. Turn 1 is a pretty scary thing to be dealing with. And it is interesting to think about who you should go for first, because obviously Shazam can affect the board with his ability, but it takes a lot longer, and Ivy doesn't really affect the board all the time. So it is a little bit hard to evaluate for me. I'm still kind of learning, but I generally like to go for a leader that maybe has a little bit less health or just can impact things more quickly than the other leader. So this is fine. So we could also just go straight 6 to the face and not sacrifice anything here. That's another option. Or we get to clear Eugene, attack for 3. I think here I'm just going to try going for the open lane. And I do want to use Mr. Freeze when he's about to pop off, so I think we're not going to do that. But I will still take the liberty here to burn for 4. And then next turn we can either maybe Mr. Freeze and KO. It's hard to not take the 6 damage off Max. Okay, well. Yep, they had the Liberty Bell to answer it, unfortunately. Pedro to block, yeah. These are good defensive options so far. We can clear Pedro pretty easily, though, and just play Mr. Freeze after we attack with Flash. And I imagine we're going to see a Savage Vine here, or are they going to hold it? Yeah. Some people will hold their Vine charges until they've got Flashpoint. I mean, it just depends on the draw, I think. Okay, Lightning Arc helps a little bit. So yeah, we get to do a pretty good job clearing. The question is, so I go 5 here, 1/1, hit with Flash. But then I don't have another good Flash attack, really. But the 5 matters a lot because it is a ton of damage. Because that's 5, 8, they go to 4. That's probably worth it. Clear Ivy Vine, and then I guess I'll just put 2 here just to conserve some health. And then Mr. Freeze. Shut this off for another turn. Okay. And now they're at least Shazam is in range of Hellblaze once we get to the gold turn. We're still pretty far. But don't love our spot. I probably would have preferred to kill Eugene here. Okay, Doctrinate. And Mr. Freeze, I can live with that. We are going to take some damage here, though, on Flash, I imagine. Oh, on Doomsday. Okay. Okay. I mean, probably correct to use it just to get those lightning bolts in their deck, but I'm really glad that that's now not something I have to consider. All right. Well, that helps quite a lot. Now the question is, am I clearing Choi with Doomsday? I can clear next turn with the Flash, so I think the answer is no. You really don't want to pop your Doomsday unless it's gonna connect. And I can take 4 with Flash to clear Choi and then attack. Something that's really interesting is trying to hope that your opponent will kind of keep a weaker card as the lane blocker, because then you can clear it very easily with Flash. So sometimes leaving up their card here, knowing that you can clear it, is actually a pretty effective way of guaranteeing the damage with Doomsday. I don't know that it's always correct, but it's certainly something that I've thought a little bit about since playing the deck. Okay. I mean, we're definitely getting low. For sure. But this Hellfire is going to be a lot for them to deal with. Definitely thinking over there. I mean, I would squeeze as much damage out of Pedro as you can if you're able to. Such a sweet card. I crafted like all of the Shazam cards pretty much once I started, because I was like, these cards are so good. Like, I just think Eugene as a 2/3 aura that gets lightning bolts, and Pedro as a 1/4 aura that gets bigger with actions. It's just like, they're just some of the best bronze cards in the game. To me, anyway. Alright, I guess they're thinking about another action here instead of playing like a recruit. Okay. Alright. It's annoying, but I guess we'll take it. Alright. Deathstroke is a good one. And I think we're going to play it over Hellfire, because we'll kill this, it'll activate, and then I get to attack. That's 15. I mean, it's sort of the same thing, right? But yeah, I'd rather have Deathstroke on the board first. Oh, so I can actually... So I attack here, activate, kill, activate. That's 17. Yeah, okay, so that's actually better. Kill, activate, kill, reactivate, 5, 2, 7, 10. Deathstroke is such a beast, and now they're dead to Hellfire. Or Hellblaze. I always call it Hellfire, I don't know why. This card is so nasty in this deck. It's so easily enabled. Okay, Hellblaze is good for them. Is there anything else that we would not be able to win through? I'm not sure. Yeah. Sorry, bud. I've got the cheetah. Bigger they are, just sat in our hand the whole game. Unfortunate. Maybe one of is more appropriate. Can't really tell. All right. Well, I think we'll call it there. It's probably a bit of a shorter video. Just showcasing, I guess, that particular matchup, which you will definitely see. So, you know, I will say the deck is... when I think about like power level, and when I think about consistency, and when I think about like, I don't know, just drawing well, I originally thought this deck was like, just some closing thoughts here, not super consistent and powerful, but like just generally not consistent enough. I've kind of fully reversed my opinion on that. I think the deck has some insane high rolls, but even when it's not high rolling, I think as the deck lists have become more refined, and I still have some refining to do, I think probably having one more power surge over the KO is probably correct because KO is a little too conditional, but it's really nice having as a one of. And having Two Face would be excellent. Maybe even Bizarro is still pretty good with Doomsday. Um, but yeah, I think the deck is actually incredibly potent. It's really hard to play around because like basically all of its recruits have speed. So even if they're dying later, they're getting the damage up front, right? It's like truly you just play them out, they deal the damage. If they die, okay, whatever. You've got a crazy amount of burn in the deck, and then you've just got two leaders that have such a nice synergy between Flash and Doomsday. Um, just having a smaller leader that can clear smaller units, and then a big leader that if you mess up, if you do not have the right answers, you're going to take 10 to the face super easily, and then you're going to take 10 to the face 2 turns later after that because of how he works. So if you haven't tried the deck, I do encourage you to try it at the risk of being the enemy here, encouraging people to try this deck. It is just, I think, a potent deck. People probably should be playing it or at least know how to play around it. So I hope that's helpful for today. And I will try and bring y'all more deck techs now that we've gotten to craft a bunch more cards and play decks that I'm really excited about. So I will catch you next time. Thanks.